Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here, and today on the LaughNgamez Cast's INnoVation channel, which we have seemingly become, we have got INnoVation taking on another foreign Zerg, or just another Zerg in general. It seems I cast a lot of INnoVation's TvZ. We have got INnoVation taking on none other than XCOM's Elazer. Elazer, or I guess he's technically on Team Ago. He's got two clan tags, making it hard mode for casters. But yeah, Elazer, a very good foreign Zerg. He has his ups and downs, but he has proved himself to be quite a consistent Zerg player. And yeah, I honestly look forward to watching him try and take on INnoVation. We'll see if he can succeed or not. This is another replay from Homestory Cup. Stay at Homestory Cup, that is, because like them, I'm doing my part. I kind of messed that meme up, but it's a meme nonetheless. That's actually a movie I haven't even seen. Starship Troopers, I've heard it's pretty good. It's on the list of things to watch, which, who knows, maybe I'll get around to it soon. But yeah, we've got INnoVation taking on Elazer in a best of 5. Elazer, he honestly won me over just by being, just by beating all my favorite European pros over and over again. It's like, oh boy, I'm a big Hearthstone fan. Let's watch him play versus Elazer, and he's dead. Or I'm a big Soul fan, and he's dead. Or I'm a big sort of fan. Oh, and he's dead. I could name a lot of pros. I'm a fan of a lot of Europeans, but Elazer does consistently come out on top of them. And then he also won about 6 or 7 of the Africa World tournaments that I organize, which are very fun to run. And Elazer, he just had such a consistent showing. And that's where I earned a lot of respect for him. INnoVation, though, doesn't need really as much of an introduction because we've cast him a lot on the channel, and he has just got a renowned Starcraft 2 resume. Elazer has already gone for an early pool, if I pull up that, judging by those links there. But if we also take a look here, he's gone for a lot more than an early pool. We have got an early Roach Warren for Elazer, gonna try and catch INnoVation off guard. And if you're playing a best of 5 against INnoVation, I think this is a genius decision, or a very wise one at the least, as Elazer knows that macroing up against INnoVation is not an easy feat. Elazer hasn't had the most perfect TvZ in the past macroing up. Sometimes he makes questionable tech paths or decisions. So seeing him go for just like an early cheese, which is then going to be followed up by a bunch of drones, I love this decision. INnoVation also hasn't scouted this yet. In fact, it could be a while before he scouts this. We'll see what he does with the Reaper. Will it spot these Roaches? It looks like the Reaper is going to spot the Roaches, so that's actually quite good news for INnoVation, at least to get a heads up that this is coming. His Reaper also stays alive, but 4 Roaches heading towards your natural will delay and force you to sort of build up a little bit in your main before you can really move out, because Roaches, they turn into the Roach Plus, aka the Ravager, which is quite a darn good unit in low numbers at harassing Terrans in the early game. With their Corrosive Bile, they can just bombard the Terran's base from afar, thanks to the vision of an Overlord on the high ground. So INnoVation has to get up a bunker. He's making a Cyclone. That being said, though, Corrosive Bile, Ravagers can always get something done, it would seem. Usually they'll leave with a supply depot, a couple of SCVs, and we'll just have to wait and see what exactly that's going to be. The Overlord has now granted vision to Elazer to spot this depot. INnoVation isn't even bothering to try and save this depot. He maybe will try and save this one near the bunker, but if we take a look right now, Elazer is actually just going into macro behind this. He pulls his Overlord away, so he's going to keep that Overlord alive. And then he's also, Elazer is also just pulling the Roaches back. He knew that INnoVation was making a Cyclone to respond to this. Fortunately for Elazer, he went into droning right after this, but honestly, this isn't a great spot for Elazer. It definitely could be better, as he didn't really get too much done. Getting like the 2 depots and an SCV or 2 would have been really nice, but INnoVation knew it was coming, so it was kind of doomed from the start. So we'll see if Elazer is going to be able to pull this game back or not. Of course, his economy is a little bit disrupted. However, on the map Simulacrum, I believe he can turn this into a longer macro game if he so chooses, or if he so decides to go down that path. Gonna lose another Overlord. That's unfortunate for Elazer. When your economy has already been delayed, you don't want to be losing sort of trivial units like that. All the while, INnoVation is going to be looking to be a bit of a pain. Going to lock onto 2 queens with these Cyclones. We'll see if Elazer can save these. One of them, both of them get away from the lock-on over this drop in the main base is going to be moving in. The Roaches and Ravagers will have to respond to this. One of the queens does stay alive. Great control by Elazer, keeping these queens alive so far. And there's also these 3 queens. They'll be able to shoo away this Medivac, but oh, INnoVation bounces towards the 3rd base of Elazer and is actually going to tie these units together, the Marines and Cyclones, to pick off one of the queens and keep the pressure going on Elazer. If we take a look right now, though, Elazer has actually gone into quite a few units. He has made a good number of Lings, or a bad number of Lings, depending whether you're the Terran or the Zerg, but these Lings are heading right towards INnoVation's base. They actually catch the Cyclones, though. I thought they might have headed to the natural to kill some SCVs, but getting the Cyclones is a good pick-off, too. Looks like they're actually just going to engage these Marines. More Lings coming on in. INnoVation going to lose quite a few Lings. The Ravagers are coming in to reinforce this, and all of a sudden, the Terran player who went for a 3rd CC does not have a lot. These Lings are going to surround these Marines. The Cyclone doesn't have that much HP. A tank is going to get set up on the high ground, but this is a great trade here for Elazer, who behind this is firing up 12 drones. So Elazer showing us well, he's given us a good showing. That's exactly what he's doing. Catches a couple of INnoVation supply depots as well. He definitely can't go any further than this, as all he has is 2 Ravagers, but trading out those Lings for a good number of Marines, the Cyclones got 2 supply depots, turned the pressure around on INnoVation. That is really good for Elazer, who behind this is now on quite a good drone count. He's already heading towards a 4th base. I love how he's already started that 4th base up. And yeah, just I'm liking this game from Elazer. A good follow-up. It was kind of questionable, but he defended the harassment of INnoVation very well, and then he went for his own counterattack, which, I mean, it didn't obviously kill INnoVation like I maybe thought it could have potentially got done, but it was still a very good attack, and it bought him so much time on his side of the map. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how we are at 101 supply for Elazer, let's try and hit 101 likes on this video for an epic TvZ best of 5. It's been pretty darn good so far. INnoVation just dodges those corrosive balls there. That would have been bad for INnoVation, as I'm trying to hype up, or bad for me as I'm trying to hype up the series, and INnoVation just loses a Medivac for free. But INnoVation, I don't think he makes plays like that too often, because he is really darn good at Starcraft 2. Elazer, by the way, while this is going on, is also getting up a 5th base. This makes me love a Zerg player when they throw up extra expansions, and he's also getting up a macro hatchery somewhere. Where's that macro hatch? I'm not too sure. That base gets canceled anyway. There we go. There's the macro hatch. This hatchery is done. Yeah, I love the choice from Elazer to do this. For all INnoVation knows, this is actually Elazer's 4th base, because it's tough to gauge exactly where the Zerg is at in this stage of the game, and this could potentially give INnoVation a false sense of security, as he doesn't necessarily know where exactly Elazer's at economically. In reality, Elazer's on a pretty good drone economy. He's getting up a hive. He's going to have his 1-1 done, so the players will be equal on upgrades. And I think from this point, Elazer pretty much just needs to pump units non-stop. He's going to have to try and shut down this drop hitting his 5th base. It's going to get canceled, but once again, this is the 5th base. Or no, it actually wasn't canceled. That's the 5th base. It's not actually the 4th base. So even if Elazer does have to cancel it, it's not the end of the world for the Zerg. It's very good for him to have this base already on the way. INnoVation, while this has been going on, is building up. He's getting up a healthy tank count, which could lead into a nasty 2-2 push. But, oh, INnoVation! He hasn't started his +2 attack yet. He started his armor. He probably didn't have enough minerals for the attack, and oh, that is a huge mistake for the Terran. Just having armor on your Marines is not what you want. All the while, Elazer has started up his 2-2, so what would have been an upgrade timing lead for INnoVation will now turn into an upgrade deficit for him later in the game, and I don't know how long till he notices that this upgrade's passed. It's already halfway done, and he hasn't started his +2 attack. This is a massive mistake for the Terran. INnoVation, one of his signature moves, is going for his 2-2 push, and it's not having 2-2 for a big push, or not having 2-2 for your multi-prong harassment, which we've seen INnoVation go for a lot more of lately, is really going to hurt him. The Marines and the Bio won't trade out as well. We see INnoVation, this drop is forced away. He's going to be dropping towards the 4th base, but there is a ton of Lings here to defend this. So INnoVation is just He's trying, and he's going to try and pull a laser apart. Like in the previous series, we watched, what Zerg did we watch him do this against? It was Raynor. And now he's trying to do it against a laser, so we'll see if that's going to work. Ling's going to try and shut down this drop. They should be able to. It's only 2 medivacs full of Marines. There's no mines or anything with this, so a laser shutting that down is good. Looks like there's a Liberator harassing this base here, but multiple Spore Crawlers in position. A laser fires up even more drones than he lost. His economy is going to be looking really nasty. Queens, Lings, and Bane's going to be trying to deal with this drop, all the while Laser pushing back INnoVation on the front. INnoVation is trying to play this sort of newfound Terran style, in which he just harasses with a large amount of drops, more so than Terrans would previously go for in the past. So I think that's quite cool, but yeah, INnoVation has... Oh, INnoVation actually just killed 16 drones. Liberator, Marines, but a laser, of course, he's still firing them up non-stop. He just lost 17 drones, but he's still on 88. That is a good Zerg player, replacing drones as you lose them. So even if you can't make a proper defense, you cover your losses. INnoVation's going to charge on in now. Not going to get too much done with this attack, though. And the fact that there's Ultras on the way already for a laser, the fact that there's Vipers out, this is going to make it much tougher for INnoVation. The drops can be punished, the medivacs can be parasitic bombed. And yeah, this is just looking pretty darn nasty here for INnoVation. I mean, or a laser, I was going to call him Cyril, because I was thinking of Cyril, how a laser's playing, is just playing very, very good. He's playing that great defensive Zerg style, covering his losses as they come in. He's now reached into that comfortable later game Zerg stage. I'm not going to say full on late game. There's no infestors or anything yet, but he has Ultras. He's getting chitinous plating on the way. I'd love to see adrenal glands start for a laser, and he's already got it. He's much, much ahead of me there. And if we take a look, there's no 3-3 just yet, but as soon as the laser gets enough money, we should be seeing that start. And there we go. The +3 melee on the way, whereas INnoVation doesn't even have his own +2 attack just yet. INnoVation not having the upgrades when fighting versus Ultras is a horrible, horrible thing. Oh, a good Widowmine hit for INnoVation, though, is going to hit this location. Baneling's going to roll on and get some okay SCV hits. INnoVation can repair this PF, and that should keep it alive. No, not all the SCVs were repairing, and it goes down. That's a big mistake for INnoVation. All the while, the Zerg could be pushing towards his 3rd base. INnoVation, though, losing his 4th base is a big loss. His +2 attack just finishes now, so his units will be better versus the Ultras. But I feel like not having the +2 hindered INnoVation a bit this game. Having that 4th base actually get killed, I feel as if the SCVs were repairing it right away, and all of them were repairing, that maybe could have stayed alive. And having a 4th base is a kind of a big deal. We're going to see INnoVation trying to push towards the laser. INnoVation is currently up about 40 supply. Laser has Banelings. They're going to roll forward. INnoVation, good dodges, though. He's got a good Marauder count. Tanks are coming forward to aid with this attack. INnoVation, of course, hasn't brought everything because he's got tanks back at home to defend this 3rd, and that's actually going to really help him out due to these Lings of a laser. But if we take a look right now, a laser, he's trying to catch reinforcements. He's pushing this army back. INnoVation is really far on creep, and the Ultras are marching. Baneling's getting good connections, and INnoVation's bio is starting to wear thin. Mines are going to burrow. They can potentially get some Ultra kills here, but oh, the friendly fire from the Widow Mines just kicking INnoVation as his army is being pushed back, and INnoVation just drops down so much supply, leaves a question mark, and a laser spams the Z. My gosh, INnoVation he just got shut down this game by a laser. A really good showing from a laser, and this gives me a lot of hope for the series. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll load into the next game. Okay, here we are, and this is not how I expected it. A laser to go up 1 in the series of this best of 5. INnoVation, of course, is going to try and proxy Rex to counter it, of course. It's a TvZ. Every time I start to cast a TvZ, it's like, oh, we get this epic long match. Then INnoVation is like, proxy 2 Rex. That's a good strategy. I'll try spinning. That's a cool trick. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a nasty, nasty move here from INnoVation. Going to be proxying a laser. Laser, I haven't seen him lose to a ton of proxies or anything like that. It's not like he lost to GSL or anything because he got 2 Raxed out of it. But man, this is not your everyday 2 Rax. This is your advanced 2 Rax. This is your 2 Rax +1. INnoVation going to be hiding a 3rd barracks, probably a little bit to the north, to try and prevent a laser from realizing the full extent of this proxy. However, a laser Such a smart Zerg, knowing he's playing INnoVation, has gone for a pool already. A pool before his gas, a pool before his hatchery. Great decision from the Zerg, I feel. That is step one to defending this proxy. Now the question is, will Elazer's Overlord spot this sooner or later? It's kind of heading to the right position, though, to spot these racks, and Elazer, as soon as he realizes INnoVation's proxying, he's going to be feeling confident. Someone like Elazer is going to be so confident at defending proxies. And INnoVation says hi. So a little bit of mind games going on here. For those of you unaware, Elazer has a bit of beef with some of the Korean players. I'm not sure if that extends to INnoVation or not. And it's friendly beef. Like INnoVation, it comes to mind SOS's and Elazer's exchanges on Twitter. So one of these days I'm going to try and get them to have a show match. Okay, Marines firing away on that hatchery. Queen going to be shooing away those SCVs. Marines starting to load on up this bunker. I mean, the bunker is going to get on up for INnoVation. He hasn't started a second one just yet. Elazer's starting to make roaches, but the bunker already getting up, I feel, is good for INnoVation. We have to see a second bunker start, though, for the Terran. Otherwise, the roaches could potentially break this. INnoVation has pulled SCVs to engage these lings as well. That's really all you need for INnoVation. A couple of lings require a couple of SCVs to respond to them. INnoVation, though, has not gone for another bunker, so he's going to be getting repelled here, and by the lack of having a second bunker, this is suddenly a lot more breakable for Elazer with roaches with his queens. INnoVation could potentially be underestimating this. In most proxy rushes, the Terrans always go for... The Terrans always go for multiple bunkers, but in this case, INnoVation hasn't. Elazer is actually just bypassing INnoVation's proxy bunker and is actually just going to be running towards the base of INnoVation. All the while, the roaches that have just popped out and the queens are going to be breaking this location. The queens can transfuse this. Elazer's going to be shutting down this proxy. INnoVation didn't have these Marines to support this bunker to defend it because he was worried about defending back at home. And all of a sudden, Elazer has broke this location. INnoVation's going to be getting repelled. And the fact that there's roaches against non-stimmed Marines is very good for the Zerg player with roaches. So Elazer could be taking 2 wins in a row against INnoVation. Those Marines, they're going to get 1 of the roaches, 2 of the roaches. That's good for INnoVation, taking a favorable trade there. But Elazer, even with 1 ling being a pain, SCV goes down to repair that, but isn't repairing that. We'll keep an eye on that. Those Marines are now actually not being produced anymore. It's actually just Marauders for INnoVation. He's going to make Marauders to try and counter the Roaches, and I actually love this decision from INnoVation. However, Roaches are coming forward now. These Marines, they're by themselves. No Marauders have popped. Once the Marauders pop, INnoVation can maybe turn and fight these Roaches, but without Stim Marauders or Medivac support, Marauders aren't that good against Roaches. They're pretty good, but they're not super amazing. Like, they're not as good as you think they'd be. Like, a couple of Roaches can kill a Marauder. INnoVation, though, switching it up to make Marauders after this, I love this follow-up, but Elazer is looking to counter that by starting to make his own lings. I'm just loving the levels of play we're seeing right now. If INnoVation decides to charge on in here, though, I will not have a lot of faith. There is a ton of Zerg back here, and so we are going to see INnoVation just keep producing Marauders, potentially pull back. Elazer even transfuses the hatchery, I guess, just to be extra safe. The couple of roaches moved across the map to be a pain. They could potentially focus down this depot and get in. INnoVation hasn't sent anything back. This is actually just going to force INnoVation's hand, but oh no, with these Marauders, I don't know if he can take on all these lings, take on all the queens. Marauders kill queens very slowly, and the fact that INnoVation is having to pull SCVs against those roaches right now is not good. He's trading out on the front lines, but this isn't going to cut it here. For INnoVation, I don't think. The Marauders, they're targeting down the roaches pretty well. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe I spoke too soon, but there's still the Spine Crawler for Elazer to retreat to. The unit numbers have thinned out, and Spines are better against lower number of units than higher number of units. So we take a look here. Yeah, I mean, INnoVation is still going. He's still producing as many units as he can. Elazer with the BM question mark again, showing a lot of liveliness in this series. The worker count is still very equal, but oh, INnoVation's pulling the SCVs. He's really going all in here. I guess he figures it's a 2-base Zerg, so he's got to break this location. INnoVation talking in chat. I'm not sure what that means exactly. If you speak Korean, let me know, but yeah, this is not looking too good for our Terran friend. We'll see. It's going to be a last hurrah, charge in. Elazer has transfused this spine crawler. INnoVation, I mean, the SCVs could buffer for this. So we'll see. I mean, that's a lot of damage from the Marauders, but the Queens and the Spine, I feel, could be very tough. Elazer has made a lot of lings. The SCVs are not in front of the Bio here. Corrosive Bile getting tossed down. The Bio is still mainly alive, but the lings come forward once again. INnoVation is microing back as well as he can. He lost all of his SCVs here. And yeah, the Queens just have too much HP. The Marauders don't deal like any damage to the Queens, so their value can't be overstated. And then just a lot of units that counter Marauders here for Elazer, and that's a lot of Zerglings. So Elazer actually takes the 2-0 lead for over INnoVation. So now we're going to load on into the next game and see if Elazer can 3-0 INnoVation. Okay, continuing on here, we have got INnoVation in the top left-hand side of the map. And Elazer saying, Terran good, just what? Buildings at home, please, after that proxy. I don't see why Elazer's complaining, as he was able to shut that down. But yeah, it's got to be a little stressful as a Zerg, being proxied by the likes of INnoVation. INnoVation says TT, but I am loving the banter between these players. The banter improves the game so much, giving us something to read a little bit early into the game. And no proxy for INnoVation. He's sticking to his word. INnoVation says you good, which by gosh, if I was Elazer, I would be over the moon at hearing you good from someone like INnoVation. I imagine Elazer probably looks up to like some of the Korean pros still a little bit, even though he's kind of made it in a sense himself. INnoVation says no ping, me win. Elazer says I know, yes, or he says yes. Apparently INnoVation not admitting why. Elazer says, but ping, I win. Okay, interesting. So Elazer saying, yes, I win because of the ping, and yes, he's going for an early spawning pool. I mean, INnoVation, I guess he couldn't quite micro to his full potential there, but I didn't see any engagements which he necessarily lost because of the ping. For the record, INnoVation's in Korea and Elazer's in Europe, so there is some ping as the players are playing. They probably play on the North American server, probably North American Central. That's where most cross server matches take place. As someone who's run a couple of cups, and it's not great for the players. It's fair for the players, but it's still not their optimal practice, not their optimal stomping ground in a sense. All right. INnoVation SCV Scout, so that's a very smart decision. This is why you always SCV Scout. Just lets you know, I think INnoVation SCV Scouts most of his games, which is good, but oh man, Elazer is going for it once again. I didn't realize how aggressive he was planning on being this series. Going for a Roach or an early pool into Roaches twice. That is something. This Overlord's going to have to turn around though because of the Marine. But we'll see if INnoVation sniffs this out. I mean, he sent the SCV home. He doesn't know how much of a commitment Elazer's going for this. The Roaches are going to be on the way now. The Reaper, though, is still staying back at home. It will now move across the map, though, so we'll see whether INnoVation sniffs this out. But I mean, he's checking his third base for some lings, and these Roaches could potentially just blindside INnoVation, which would be horrible for him. The Reaper is now going to move across the map, so these Roaches will eventually be spotted by Elazer, or by INnoVation, pardon me. But it's around the same time as the previous game that INnoVation lost, so we'll see if we have a repeat or not. INnoVation's making Hellions, but Hellions don't help you out too much versus Roaches. Besides a little bit of buffering, INnoVation has a bunker on the way. He's going to have a Starport or a potential Banshee. But until that Banshee's out, these Roaches do have the potential to poke a little bit. We'll see if Ravagers are going to get made by Elazer, but the answer is actually no. Elazer pretty much pulled out a gas, so he couldn't actually make Ravagers, whereas INnoVation didn't really have the units to deal with this. The Roaches almost make it into INnoVation's base, which would have been a bit problematic. The Roaches are still going to be a pain, poke and prod a little bit. But they will end up going home, and Elazer is just going to drone on up. He's actually making 16 lings, though. That's kind of odd. Making some roaches, then going into 16 lings when there's Hellions out seems like an odd choice, but it is quite a large commitment here from Elazer. Just making this many lings, I mean, maybe he's going to try and catch INnoVation out on the map, catch his Hellions, or sneak these lings into his natural. We'll see what Elazer's going to go for. Speed is now done, so these lings are going to move out. The Hellions are not in position to identify this. They're going to miss those lings. They're going to run towards the natural. Lings for Elazer are going to chase after these Hellions, but drones are going to start getting cooked up at the same time, though. Elazer's lings are going to run towards the natural of INnoVation. We'll see what they're able to get done. Elazer lost 6 drones while this was going on, though, so both these players are going to be taking a bit of a beating. I'm not sure who took it worse. I'd say Elazer did, simply because of how much he committed to all those Zerglings. He got 3 SCVs, whereas INnoVation got 6 drones. Of course, Elazer did clean up the Hellions, but at the same time, it's like, was that enough damage to justify, like, the 20 lings that Elazer made? 3 dead, 17 out on the map. So, yeah, 20 lings, which is 500 minerals, aka 10 drones. Yeah, that's a bit questionable. So, Elazer being very active with these lings, going to be looking for whatever he can. Of course, Elazer also has to invest in Spore Crawlers now to try and repel the Banshee that INnoVation has gone for. And yeah, if we take a look, there's Stimpack on the way here for INnoVation. He's going for a 2 Rex play, or he's actually got a 3 CC play, pardon me. So not going for something super aggressive. Banshee's on the way as well for INnoVation. Those are going to be heading towards the natural of Elazer, the Queen repositioning for Elazer. He's one of the players with very good usage of the Queens for defense. Couple of Hellions. 2 couples of Hellions are going to be moving across the map. INnoVation is actually going to catch some of Elazer's Queens. However, the Queens can now turn thanks to this Overseer showing on up. Hellions of INnoVation maybe going to head towards the 3rd base of Elazer. Lings and Roaches should be in position for this. We'll see how quickly they can react to this, or how quickly Elazer reacts. The Hellions are now charging on in towards that 3rd base. INnoVation going to try and get out with these Hellions. The Lings are chasing after them, and they do end up having to let those Hellions go. All the while, these Banshees heading towards the natural of Elazer again. Gonna be looking for some drones to try and outposition that Spore Crawler. 2, 3, 4 dead drones, all the while a few more died from those Hellions. So Elazer taking a bit of a beating. It's nothing too bad yet, but that is 11 drones. That is no small amount. Make that 12 drones. That's putting the hurt onto Elazer a little bit there. And while this is going on, INnoVation has his own CC. It's gonna float towards the 3rd base location. Yeah, that's a little bit concerning here for Elazer if we take a look at the supply right now. But, I mean, he's getting a Baneling Nest, he's getting an Evo Chamber, so he's going to have his own 1-1. I guess it depends how much he can delay INnoVation pushing. Because if INnoVation moves out for a push before Elazer has reestablished his economy, it's going to be a bit tough for Elazer. Whereas if INnoVation just goes for some drops or something, I think that would be possible for Elazer to shut down the drops and then make it more of a game, kind of like he did in game number 1. But if INnoVation just goes for a big push at the front, I will be a little bit concerned for Elazer, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing right now. INnoVation, I mean, he's got some siege tanks, he's got a decent number of Marines pushing towards Elazer's base. Elazer has creep at the front that INnoVation's going to have to step onto. At the same time, though, Baneling speed is ways away for Elazer. He's making 4 Banelings, but he's not going to have that Bane speed to repel these Marines, which are going to be 1-1. Tanks are going to be getting set up towards the 4th base. And if we take a look right now, these Queens are going to have to try and buffer as much as they can. But yeah, the 4th base just gets canceled. So that is already a good pickoff for Elazer. And unlike game number 1, Elazer just had the 1 4th base building. He didn't start up a 2nd. So that's going to hurt the Zerg a little bit. And INnoVation might just take that win and then sit back a little bit. Banshee for INnoVation, moving towards the 4th base of Elazer. We'll see if it's going to get any drones or get anything done. Going to get a creep tumor. Lings and Ravagers can't help deal with that. Elazer having to pull Queens, all the while INnoVation is grouping up his army. Hellbats are now here for INnoVation due to those Hellions that stayed alive. More Banelings are being made for Elazer. His 1/1's on the way, but if he takes a fight before that, that will definitely hinder his ability to respond to that. Looks like Elazer's going for a Ling counterattack. We'll see what that's able to get done heading towards the third base, but INnoVation has a siege tank on the high ground. Ling SCVs are going to be getting attacked by these Lings, so the friendly fire potential is real. INnoVation is getting pulled entirely back. 7 SCVs for that. That was pretty darn good for Elazer. Just for the fact that it pulled INnoVation away from him, this gave Elazer a lot of time to prepare, and now it looks like Elazer is going to try and catch INnoVation off creep. The tanks, though, do get set up, and Elazer will have to back up. He's got a good number of Banelings, but he doesn't really have creep to attack INnoVation. The fact that there's no creep on this ramp means the tanks can get set up there without as much of a risk of getting rolled over by Banelings and Lings, and then they're even going to be heading towards the fourth base. This could make life very tough for Elazer. INnoVation just going to be using these tanks on the high ground. Ravagers toss down Corrosive Biles. That's one of the tanks dead, but there's a lot more where that came from. Elazer's going to have to deal with this somehow. We'll see if he can close the gap on top of these tanks. He's going for a Ling counterattack, but that's not going to get much done. INnoVation has a random Marine at the newly building fourth base of Elazer, as once again this base was shut down by INnoVation. That was a finished hatchery too. Looks like Elazer's just being knocked down again and again this game. Elazer is going for burrowed Banelings, which he uses very well at times. So we could be seeing that be one of his plays again. A lot of Lings and Banes are also hanging out towards the fourth or fifth base of INnoVation. That being said, though, while that's going on, that means they're not at home to defend for Elazer. They're catching a couple of Marines, but INnoVation has a siege tank back at home. These Lings and Banes could actually be caught by INnoVation. That would be disastrous for Elazer. They're going to have to go out onto the map. And INnoVation has so many siege tanks right now. He's also got 2/2, whereas Elazer is only on 1/1, not even having an attack upgrade for his Hydras. Elazer's going to take this opportunity to go for a big surround. Banelings rolling from behind. INnoVation going to eat some nasty connections. All of a sudden, Elazer wipes the floor with INnoVation's army. Wow, INnoVation kind of walked into that flank since he knew those Lings and Banes were out on the map, but Elazer made that play happen. Really well done there. Totally just crushed INnoVation's army, and now he's got his own 2/2 done. He also stuck some Banelings to be burrowed in there, and oh, the Banelings! Do they go? No, the Banelings don't go, and they were a little bit off position. So we'll see if Elazer's going to reposition those or what. But after that good fight, things are looking a lot better for Elazer compared to his situation before anyway. I mean, he still had his fourth base denied a lot, but he's making 20 more Banelings. He's going to have a very healthy Baneling count. 38 Banelings is nothing to scoff at. The tanks of INnoVation, though, are getting set up. Elazer's army is very exposed to this, eating a couple of preemptive shots that he did not have to take. Ling's counterattacking for Elazer, but once again, INnoVation's production is enough to deal with this. And the Zerg is moving out on the map once more. Those burrowed Banelings still waiting for something. Elazer's going to counterattack. Looks like we're going to be heading towards a bit of a base trade, which I think in this situation actually could be good for the Zerg, but Elazer's going to pull some of his units back. He's just going to try and sack the third of INnoVation, but INnoVation saves all the SCVs, so these Banelings are just going to push on up, but they can't go further due to those siege tanks. Elazer going to take a lot of INnoVation's supply depots, which is nice. He's buying a lot of time, keeping INnoVation's army back at home, but this is looking okay for Elazer. He's got burrowed Banelings at the third base. He killed 10 SCVs. Oh, do those Banes unburrow? No, they're still waiting. Elazer's going to go back in towards the third, deny INnoVation that position once more. Banelings do get some connections on the SCVs there, and INnoVation is down to 49 SCVs, whereas Elazer, he's up to 67. He's got a fourth base, even though he lost this one here, and he's got another base building up here, so very low eco actually for both players, all things considered. But for Elazer, this is looking okay. He could potentially take a fight before INnoVation's 3/3 finishes. This is actually right as INnoVation's 3/3 is finishing. Elazer's attack was a little bit disjointed though, and he actually eats a lot of nasty siege tank shots. Most of his Banelings on the left side were taken out. Just a handful of Hydras joined the fight very slowly there, and all of a sudden Elazer's supply really dropped right now. INnoVation could still make a push happen. We see Elazer, though, being relentless, attacking the third base of INnoVation yet again. But this is an odd team of units, and INnoVation still has all these siege tanks. I just cast an Alpha Star game, in which Alpha Star kind of just rolled the Zerg because at the end of the day, the Terran had a lot of siege tanks, but once again, we could be seeing that as INnoVation has a lot of siege tanks. The Elazer doesn't have that much mass to roll into that. He's half the supply of INnoVation right now. Vipers are now on the way for a Elazer, but it might be too little too late. If we remember at the start of the game, the Elazer got up to a hive really quick, or he got up to a hive fairly quick, but the Vipers are just on the way now, I feel. And so this is a little bit concerning for Elazer. Can he buy time for these Vipers to get out? Can he get off some good parasitic bomb or some blinding clouds? If he can do that, he'll be in a potentially winning position, but he's going to lose his third base, really knocking him down just to one effective location. INnoVation does have 4 bases. One of them's a PF, one of them's fresh. And so this is looking kind of tough for Elazer. I wanted to say that Elazer could just still made a comeback happen this game, but it's going to be a bit tough for him here. INnoVation doesn't have all of his units across the map, though, so he's not fighting with all of his supply. Vipers coming on in. We could be seeing the blinding clouds. No, those Vipers get zoned on out by INnoVation's Marines. Good job there from INnoVation to zone out those Vipers, and INnoVation is bringing the rest of his reinforcements forward, which is so important to prevent Elazer just from fighting only a portion of his army. We see Elazer go for a big counterattack once again, but INnoVation's army is huge right now. Vipers abduct a couple of the tanks, but this is a lot of Marines for INnoVation. They do have patches of creep or creepless patches to pull back to, and there's simply so much bile for INnoVation here. I'm not sure if Elazer can break this. All of his Banes are gone, and INnoVation is not going to get 3-0'd by Elazer. So I will load on into the next game. Forgive me a little as I choke on water and die a bit between games. I'm one of those people who can manage to choke on water far more than you'd think or than I'd like to admit. But it happens, and I was looking at INnoVation wondering if there'd be a proxy to try and tie the series up, but no, Elazer is moving out on the map with a drone already. Oh my gosh, Elazer is worried about macroing against INnoVation, it would seem. This is the 3rd game he's been really, really cheesy. I guess the 4th, because he opened with an early pool in the against that Proxy 2 rack, so Elazer has been cheesy 4 out of 4 games so far. And I, for one, love it. He is bringing high-caliber cheese against a high-caliber Terran. Just unorthodox enough, with a realm of unpredictability, so INnoVation doesn't know exactly how to deal with this kind of cheese. I think that really is the best part of cheese, like the cheese that your opponent can identify and really be like, okay, my opponent's cheesing me, but he could just always macro out of it. Or my opponent's cheesing me, but I don't know exactly the specifics. What kind of gateway units is he making? What kind of, I don't know, what's he making out of that factory? You know, that sort of thing applies. And so the mystery cheese is the best kind of cheese. INnoVation hasn't scouted out yet, so he doesn't know that he's going to be going up against this kind of play. The SCV is going to cross the map now, but it's not going to see the proxy hatchery, and that's exactly what Elazer wants. I mean, if INnoVation spotted this hatchery now, that would be quite bad for the Zerg, but it's just going to be like a pretty average timing for INnoVation to spot this with a later SCV scout. The Roach Warren's already on the way for Elazer, so it is going to be Roaches once again, this time off the back of a proxy hatchery. Probably lots of Ravagers morphing too, as we see how much gas Elazer is getting. So he's going to use this proxy hatchery. This is going to allow him to make just a couple of Roaches and then make them into Ravagers pretty much right away. And we'll see if that's going to begin getting made. Where are those Roaches? There they are. The gas bank is already building up. This is going to allow Elazer to make Ravagers pretty much instantly. I'm not sure if these will be done fast enough, though, to delay the command center building. If these Roaches can get out and actually delay the CC, basically indefinitely. That would be huge for Elazer, and I think they very well could. INnoVation's going to have to use his grenade to try and slow these down. He's going to, but he doesn't quite get it. So Elazer, if he moves these roaches quick enough, he should be able to delay this CC, which is huge for Elazer to delay this CC. And now even if INnoVation holds on the high ground, his CC is pretty much canceled. And there we go. INnoVation cancels it. He instantly starts it on the high ground. It's kind of like cutting off a toe to save the arm for INnoVation there. Bad, but not as bad as losing an arm and just waiting for the CC indefinitely. Elazer, though, is really committing to this attack because he committed to a proxy hatchery, so this isn't something he can easily macro out of. These roaches and ravagers can bomb corrosive bile on this army, essentially indefinitely, it would seem. INnoVation will keep repairing this. I think it takes about 6 ravagers to kill a bunker with corrosive bile, so we'll see if Elazer gets up to that amount. However, he's going to have to pull the Overlord back because there's a Cyclone on the way, and Elazer knows it. So he's going to have to either wait to have enough Ravagers to corrosive bile down that bunker and then go for it. Or he's just going to, I don't know, have to try and break this with Roaches, but the fact that he hasn't made any more Ravagers makes me think he's going to try and break it with Roaches. He's tossing down a bunch of corrosive biles. Is he going to morph more Ravagers? He could, but he's actually supply block. There we go. As soon as this Overlord's done, he should be morphing like 2 more Ravagers, and that should leave him with enough in order to basically break down this bunker with corrosive biles and then flood up the ramp. That's exactly what Elazer needs to do here. If he corrosive biles down the bunker, all of a sudden the Terran units are very, very soft. INnoVation, if we take a look though, has got these SCVs here ready to repair, to right-click on that instantly. And if he has those SCVs repair right away, he might be able to save the bunker. Better than you think. Elazer can't afford to lose any Ravagers right now because he needs to get as much corrosive bile off as he can. Elazer just making units non-stop here, but I'm a little bit concerned if this Overlord gets picked off. I think this rush effectively fails. Cyclone locks onto one of the Ravagers once again, but look at this. This Overlord can't get in far enough, and the Cyclones actually lock onto it, dealing damage to it already. The fact that that's happened means that the bunker can't be corrosive biled, and Elazer is taking way too long with this rush, I feel, and he can't just go home. I mean, he's going to attack these rocks, I think, because he knows he's in a tough spot between a rock and a hard place. So he's trying to take the rock out of the situation, but I don't think that's actually going to help him. So, I mean, this is going to get broken. Maybe Elazer could break this location. It's going to be so tough for him, though. He's making lings to add the fodder in, the lings that are good against the Cyclones, the lings that'll get up the ramp quickly. Now it looks like we're going to be seeing INnoVation or Elazer go for it. Where's the corrosive bile? There it is, all down on the bunker. The bunker stays alive, though, and that is going to be huge for INnoVation every second that stayed alive. And now with the Banshee to help out, to target down the Ravagers easier, it's not going to happen for Elazer. GG gets called, and INnoVation ties it up by holding that cheese. Here we are, and we have got a wacky, wacky map in order to be the final map. I mean, INnoVation, he's tied it up. He kind of... Okay, so he lost to a cheese, but that went into a very healthy macro game, so we can't just say Elazer cheesed out INnoVation. And then he tried to cheese and he failed. And then he lost, and then he defended a cheese, and then he defended a cheese, and then... Yeah, I mean, we're at a tied series. What more can I say? Now we are on one of the most wacky maps of them all. At this point, I'd just say Elazer, just go for the gold base. But in reality, don't, because the gold base isn't too friendly on this map for Zerg, because it can always be attacked from behind by like a Terran Reaper or something. And if you think about it, a Reaper could always just, say, grenade bounce itself onto the other side, then attack the drones. I hadn't even thought about that yet. I'm pretty sure a Reaper can grenade bounce itself over these patches. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind, and we'll see how Elazer's going to play this out. Can he play a cheeseless match against INnoVation? That's what I want to know. And then the game continues on. A spawning pool on the way for Elazer. Gas on the way for Elazer. Just normal timings, all the while INnoVation. Not SCV scouting early on yet. Just going to be going for his CC, then an SCV scout. So INnoVation likes the later SCV scouts. Personally, I prefer the early SCV scouts. And I think the early SCV scouts are better for worse players because they let you know that you can just position your Reaper differently, maybe build your CC on the high ground, because it's very tough to micro in an early situation if the Zerg is going for like a 16 pool, and then you have to worry about keeping your Reaper at home and then run the SCV as the Lings try and snipe down the SCV building your CC, and then you get delayed and then your macro slips and it's very tough. Someone like INnoVation doesn't have to worry about that, so he can go for a later scout because he'll just micro his Marine perfectly, pull the proper amount of SCVs, pull the Reaper back at home. That's something that separates the pro gamer from the rest of us. From the rest of us casuals, anyway. We see the Reaper going to be trying to focus down one of those Lings. So far, good micro from Elazer. Of course, these players are playing with a little bit of ping, so maybe that's coming into INnoVation's Reaper control and Elazer's Ling control. But they are both playing with ping. INnoVation going for a very, very quick third command center this game. And so far, Elazer isn't cheesing, so I like that choice. Elazer wants to take his third base, but he gets his queen bounced back by that grenade. And the queen is going to try and chase the Reaper away, so a drone can end up taking that third. INnoVation, of course, is going to try and be a jerk and delay that drone if possible. The drone is running towards the hatch, though, and the drone will complete its mission. Elazer, though, actually a little bit supply blocked. Did Elazer miss an Overlord right now? Like, look at Elazer's supply right now. Oh, this is bad. Elazer getting supply blocked on the 44 is not good for the Zerg. INnoVation, I mean, isn't doing anything super spectacular. I think he might have actually lost his Reaper. Yes, he did. But Elazer getting supply blocked at 44 is terrible. Like, he hasn't been making units for a full 18 seconds, which is a long time in Starcraft 2. Not something that you want. Elazer's starting to spread his creep, which is good. We'll see if INnoVation's potentially going to play a mech style this game, or if he'll maybe try and use the back rocks on the back minerals on Golden Wall. I guess technically rocks. But oh, take a look at this. A Baneling nest already on the way for Elazer. He's a little bit scared, I guess, of, say, could be Hellbats or something coming from INnoVation, because Elazer doesn't know. I think he's probably glimpsed the Hellions or something. But he has no idea that INnoVation has gone for a fast third CC, and he's just going to macro up normally. So this means that INnoVation is going to get away with this greed, more or less, and Elazer is not going to be able to punish it whatsoever. He's not going to be able to counter it by going for his own greed, and this makes me a little bit concerned here for our Zerg friend, because I know how powerful INnoVation is when he macros up. This Viking has been looking for Overlords, but hasn't found any yet. However, INnoVation still hasn't had to worry about scouting. There was no pneumatized carapace from Elazer, so no Overlord jetted in to see the super early third from INnoVation. And INnoVation is going to get away with this, whereas Elazer invested in an early Baneling nest. He made, I guess the Lings can be excused because they're anti-Hellion, but the early Baneling nest, he's even making Banelings now because he's unsure of what these Hellions are going to do. And it is quite a lot of Hellions here for INnoVation, 8 Hellions, but it's still off the back of a third CC. Hellions are going to run on in towards the third base of Elazer. The drones do run away though, so good job there from Elazer to pull the drones properly. And Elazer does have the Banelings now, which can help catch the Hellions if they like dive up the ramp or something. But we see Elazer runs in. An Overlord's going to try and save itself, morphing into an Overseer, but it will go down. And the third base was spotted, but the damage has been done. INnoVation is hitting his macro stride now, so Elazer just has to embrace this. He can't really counter it by going for his own greed at this stage in the game. And yeah, the game will continue on right now. Elazer going to take some Liberator harassment at his third base. He is very good at responding to this kind of harassment, but oh, INnoVation was trying for a 1-2. Clump all the drones up as they run from the Liberator, then dart in with the Hellions. Good reaction from Elazer, though, to intercept that. And Elazer's harassment defense is still very on point, as usual. INnoVation, though, going to even take the gold base on the map, Golden Wall. Love that decision. That's got to be very uncomfortable for Elazer as that one Zergling scouts that. He's like, oh no, INnoVation on a gold base, and I'm a Zerg who didn't take the gold. Tough times ahead. This is going to allow INnoVation to make a boatload of Marines, maybe 2 boatloads even. INnoVation is muling the gold patches, and he's just going to have a lot of minerals here from this. All the while, this is going to open up this potential attack path to the rear as well in the future. And if we take a look right now, INnoVation is just starting to get ahead on supply. He's just going to be producing units non-stop. Once he's on 5 racks, that's where he's really going to take off. At least for Elazer, his 4th base is very far away from INnoVation. His creep is very well split out. This makes me wonder if Elazer will end up getting attacked from this location, because obviously there's no creep here. Whereas if INnoVation wants to go for like a push or go for an attack somewhere else... Oh, all these lings go down after getting a tank, by the way. At least they got the tank, but a little bit painful for Elazer. But yeah, if INnoVation wants to go for a direct attack, it will be a bit tough due to all this creep that hasn't been cleaned up. If he goes to the rear, though, or if he goes for like a drop or something, then it could be nasty for Elazer. INnoVation, though, maybe going to be putting a bit of pressure on Elazer. He's got some medivacs to the north dropping, but then he's also gone full Autobots and is transforming. He is going to be having these Hellbats potentially lead a push of his bio. Queens and Ling's going to be trying to deal with INnoVation's Marines, which are at the 4th base. But now the push is going to begin. Elazer has a very big heads up of this because of the creep. But that might not stop INnoVation here, as he has his Hellbats to buffer. He's rolling forward with his 1 siege tank. The mutas are now starting to pop out for Elazer. So nothing too terrible has happened for either player just yet. Elazer could catch these Marines. Oh, a great catch with the Banelings there, taking out pretty much 2 medivacs worth of Marines. I love that decision. All the while, more Banelings on the way here for Elazer, replacing those. He's got to make sure he has enough of an army that if he needs to pounce on INnoVation, he can pounce. But as we see, the Terran player is being very slow, pushing back the creep. Elazer is trying to re-establish the creep because he knows, like in that previous match, once INnoVation gets a foothold, it's very tough to dislodge him. Mutas are heading towards the 3rd base of INnoVation. Going to catch a couple of SCVs. Get a few there. 4 in total. Pulling the Marines back is also very cute. It's important to note that INnoVation could have a tougher time responding to these mutas because of the uniqueness of Golden Wall. All this is kind of dead space back here. Although we take a look, the Terran's looking to push on in. Elazer is going to have to deal with this. The supply is very even right now. We have ourselves a very even TvZ. Both players are getting their 2-2 upgrades. Elazer, he's heading towards an infestation pit. At the same time, though, INnoVation just dropped a ton of mules on his newly establishing 4th base. So INnoVation is on a very healthy economy. The mutas of Elazer are going to have to turn around when they see those Marines. Elazer nabs himself a depot, a cute move there. He's got to be careful, though, not running into all those Marines. He's doing a great job controlling his mutas. And he has delayed INnoVation still. Elazer's going to be approaching maxed out supply. So is INnoVation. So this game could become very scrappy or be very long here if we take a look, because neither player has been able to attack each other, really because of the uniqueness of this map. Mainly INnoVation's attack have been delayed, because if this was a different map, INnoVation very well could have hit the 4th base of Elazer. So it's interesting to see how a longer TvZ is starting to play out on this map. As we see, though, both players are maxed out. It's an interesting situation, the Terran versus Zerg max out. The Terran, I mean, can have a very strong army, particularly when being controlled by INnoVation, but at the same time, the Zerg can make essentially infinite Banelings. They can go till they're maxed out on Banelings, so their army keeps getting better past the 200 supply mark. So that is something to keep in mind, and if we're looking right now, Elazer could be looking for a big surround. Lings and Banes are going to be going for it. Elazer's pulling the trigger on this. INnoVation has Thors and Siege Tanks absorbing a lot of the Banelings. Elazer's Banes are going off creep. I don't know about this one for Elazer. He's getting some good connections at the end there, but INnoVation has a lot of standing bio at the end still. It looks like both players traded pretty equally because the supply is still essentially even. Elazer's making more Banes. He's getting up a hive. The +2 flyer attacks are on the way. Still a very equal game we're seeing right now. Elazer, he has got up his 5th base. He kept that alive so he can start transferring drones there. He's also getting up the adrenal glands, which will start to improve his army quite a bit. The mutas as well are not sitting idle. It's going to be tough, though, to get harassment done at that 3rd base due to those turrets. We see an Ultra Cavern on the way for Elazer, so he's going to be looking to get to those strong Ultras like he did in game number 1. INnoVation still just making mines, still just making bio. This is such an interesting thing. It seems that INnoVation has based his TvZ essentially not off making mass Liberators, not off making mass Ghosts, the units that you typically think of when going toe-to-toe with a late-game Zerg, but INnoVation has just chosen to play a very active style using mass bio, mass drops, hitting everywhere. No really special units. I mean, he has Thors in his army, he has mines in his army, yes, but that's pretty standard Terran stuff. No Liberators, no Ghosts, though. Just a very strong economy, constant production, constant pressure, and we are going to be seeing INnoVation move out on the map once again. INnoVation has successfully remaxed, whereas Elazer is still just getting there, partially due to investing in other upgrades, partially due to the fact that he doesn't have mules to give him a better income, despite both the players being on a very solid one. We see Elazer, he's actually choosing to abandon this location here. He's taking the gold, but wow, Elazer gives that up pretty darn quickly. He gets some Lings and Banelings rolling forward, gets alright trades for Elazer, I feel, as Elazer is establishing this base down here, but I feel it would be better if he mined out these rocks at the back and started expanding there. INnoVation, though, is doing a very good job splitting his army. We see the main thing I like about INnoVation's army is that it's so anti-Baneling. He's got a couple of Widowmines to zone out Elazer from just making mass Lings, but the Banelings, there's no way they'll really trade efficiently against this composition, because right now it's mainly Marauders. There's a good number of Thors. 2 Thors takes a lot of Banelings, and all the Widowmines getting some alright connections. We see Elazer throw a ton of Banelings forward, and they don't get that good of a trade. I feel Elazer would be taking just fine trades if he just had mass regular Ling in this situation, and he doesn't actually have that many. The Lings will start to engage INnoVation's army. They have their adrenal glands, so they're going to do okay, but we saw Elazer just trade out a ton of resources there in Banelings. I don't know how many Banelings that was, but 35 have gone down this game. And because of this, we are seeing INnoVation just take great trades against Elazer. Widowmines are getting some friendly fire off, but Elazer's starting to wear thin. There we see a bunch of Lings starting to run forward. Widowmines get some friendly fire, but they take out most of the Lings, and Elazer is in trouble right now. He's waiting for his Ultras to pop, but right now it's seeming like they take forever to build, particularly when his gold 5th base is on the line. That gold 5th base is going to die. The drones there are probably going to be forfeit, and Elazer doesn't even try and salvage the situation. He just taps out, and INnoVation pulls the reverse sweep against Elazer in an epic Terran versus Zerg series. Man, INnoVation series never undeliver. Elazer, he played a great series. I mean, sometimes you think of a Korean Terran against a foreign Zerg and it could just be a roll, but no, Elazer played a great series, and I really liked how his TvZ was looking, or ZVT. It looked rather bulletproof for the most part. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. Slap that like button. Can we get 100 likes for this long series? My voice is going to need a rest. Can we get some subscribers in the house? Try and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Join the Discord. I recently added the members to the Discord, so that's a role you can get if you are so inclined to support the channel. And then I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.